What's up, Wicked? How's it going, bud? We're getting started here in just a minute. I'll be right back. Right. So, let's get this party started, shall we? Welcome to the Drakeage 2000 show. I'm your host, Drakeage 2000. It's so good to have you here. And yeah, keep trying to pay down the loan, and we're almost done paying it off, though. Like, we got 9,000 more to go, and then it will be fully paid off. That's not encouraging. Why are we spending a bunch of panels? Oh, it's because we're building roads. So this is the state of the Republic at the moment. We're still burning trash over here. This was starting to get a little bit full, so I decided to pull some vehicles off in order to alleviate that a little bit. Plus I want the price of hazmat to go higher as well. I've got a fully functioning prison over here, which we're down to 29 again, so I could probably drop the number of wardens a little bit. Yeah, when it's full of wardens, we don't lose any loyalty, and we have a 5.5%, but we don't have, like, it's not full all the time. Neither is our factories over here. If I can get these factories running 24/7, that'd be great. And I'm hoping that these guys are going to help out with this planned expansion on the number of people. I thought 3,690 was going to be enough to feed this industry. Did I do my numbers wrong or something? Okay, we've got 1,649. This is supposed to be 3 times 80, which is 240 people. So 240, 480. So 480 for the primary 2, right? 480. So this is 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 people. With 600 people, this should be full like 24/7, but it's not. And I think part of it is because some of these people are like working in the prison, and some of these other industries and stuff. I feel like once we're done building the rail network, once we're done building for a while, things are gonna get like a lot better, I think. But I'm trying to be slow with our expansions. The other thing is, in order for me to build this, I need to move this sewage outlet, which is gonna suck. I think the best way to do that is to just detach, destroy this as quickly as humanly possible, and then connect those pipes right there directly into these pipes. And I think while that is going on, ooh, we dipped low on money there. I think while that's going on, that's not good. Let's take a 30,000 loan. Maybe we're not quite ready to pay that off. 9,067. Boom, returned. But I think the best way to do that is maybe we get like a technical service office like this guy. We build like another one of those and just, or we use like the free ones, which would probably be better. So we use the free ones and then we just fill it full of the poop trucks essentially. Which I could probably put like a poop sewage loading unloading station. Could probably go over here or somewhere. You know, it would need power, right? You need power, don't you? Hold on, let's get it close to it. Yeah, it does need power. Okay, well, we could do it over here, right? And then we just dump our sewage into the pipes that we're literally building right now, and then I think we'd be good. We are spending a lot of money on prefab panels in that last month. Let's look. Yeah, so we bought 5,660 rubles worth of steel. The prefab panels weren't that expensive, honestly. 79.35. We got the construction industry up and running over here now, which is exciting. So we're making bricks, we're making wooden boards, we're making wood. I've got gravel. I'm trucking in coal right now, which is not super efficient. Trucking in coal. I plan on switching that over to train as soon as humanly possible, but we're not quite there yet. We still have a lot of rail left to build, but we do have a lot of rail built as well, so that's exciting. And since we've got all of that rail built, I was able to move our pre-bought trains into the depot over here. So we've got all of the rail built all the way back here to the actual place, which is fantastic. And I'm leaving my trains off of the network for now because yeah, we are profitable sometimes. Like last month we were profitable. Well, let's look at the actual money. Like last year, right? Last year we were positive 23,000. Not much. This year we're positive 3,000. So we're not earning fat stacks of cash yet, and the problem is right here. I'm not getting the full production out of here because this is not full 24/7, you know. Yeah, we do have a very, very, very small loan of 30,000 right now. We've borrowed 30,000, which we borrowed originally 200 something thousand. But I've gotten that down to 30,000 now, and it's almost done. I've got an expansion planned for right here, but I haven't completed this expansion yet because our original sewage tank is right here, which is not good. That would not work. What was the thing? Was it the sewage flow? There we go. So the thought process behind this is I plan on building another technical service office, and what I'll do is I'll build a like sewage unloading station over here or something like that, right? Just as a temporary solution, and then we'll just use the trucks. 70 out of 80 in a factory is excellent. If a worker is walking to a factory, that slot is taken, so it can't be 100%. Oh, okay. I was hoping to see that number at 80%. But yeah, so we're making a crap ton of clothing. If we look at last year's exports, we exported 616 tons of clothing last year. I'm also exporting boards and bricks, mixed waste, and wood for why not? Yeah, you wouldn't be able to. So I'm running. Here's the other thing too. I took all of the prisoners off. Originally, I was delivering prisoners to these two factories and this factory. I changed it so that I only deliver prisoners now to the furthest away factory. So this one is only getting prisoners, basically. Well, it's not only getting prisoners, it's getting a couple normal workers too, but we are sending the primarily we're sending the prisoners over here, which is pretty good. 52 things of crime. Doesn't it say somewhere like, hey, a crime was committed here or something? Oh, hold on. If that's the only, is this the only criminal view? That kind of sucks. That just tells you where the criminals are living, which is not important information. I need to know where the crimes are happening. Unpatrolled crimes this year. I don't see any. Yeah, I don't see any. So you have produced coal for the bricks. No, we're trucking in coal right now, but I'm getting ready for the coal expansion over here. So this is 2 coal mines feeding the coal processing plant with a rail station to deliver the workers. But the plan is not to use these people for that, but rather a new city, which I'm going to build in here. So the new city is going to go here. The other plan is to terraform this and create a channel from here. Let's lay it out. I'll show you. So I'm going to build a channel essentially from here to there and from there to there. I'm creating the Suez Canal right here, okay? And then that way I've got a really large harbor in here, right? 2 or 3 processing plants per mine. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think we'll be going through that much coal that quickly, but we can expand on that if we need to. But yeah, so the idea is this natural harbor right here is going to become our harbor. And I'm going to like dig out this little sandbar right here. And then look at that. they would come in here, they would dock, and then they would come out here and they would leave. It's so close to the Soviet border that it's going to be really useful. And then you could come down the river, which is less than ideal, but you can go all the way down this river to trade with NATO if necessary. But that's like, I'm not worried about doing that. We've got the new farmland over here getting ready to be utilized. Where? I clicked off the thing too quickly. My mistake. They seem to be okay because one of them is leaving right now, so yeah. So the other thing is, let me update you on this. We've completed the research on like where everything is. So coal is down here and up here. So there's a bunch of coal literally right here, which is probably going to be like a really good seam of it. But guess what's right next to this coal? Not too far away, just up here, is iron. So we can make steel in like this area or something. And then we've got oil down over here, which is right next to the planned harbor, right? So essentially I can run oil from here to our planned harbor and then ship the oil out or something. And then we found bauxite up here. So bauxite is over here where I've set this little marker here. Oh, okay. You're good. You're good. No longer showing the plans for where ore and such is. Sorry, I forgot that you were playing the same map and you didn't want to get spoiled. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Drake Republic. This is our first profitable republic. I say that and then I'm not profitable this month, but hopefully that changes. Oh, dang it. That was a not a good month for us. I've tried using just the distribution office to move the clothing out and move the fabric in, but the problem is this is not as consistent as the two trucks that we have running the fabric and clothing with, right? So the two trucks that we have running that's like 20 grand every, well, it's basically, it's like 6 grand per delivery. The last I looked, let's see what the current price is. So the current price has gone up to 1,114 and 76 cents on the ruples, which is phenomenal. That's a great number. I want that number to be higher, but stuff is getting more expensive, so there's that. The other thing is I was trying to experiment in this, like that's why there's a couple scars here. I was trying to experiment with like how would I set up a livestock farm, and then we could do meat and sell the meat, because the meat price is pretty decent. 215 per at the moment is not a bad number, especially when you consider livestock is 82.585. That's a significant increase to make it into meat and then sell the meat. So there's an option for us there in the future. Obviously we need to get chemicals going. The oil price is $20, or 20 ruples rather. So yeah, we're kind of like, we're at that equilibrium phase where we're not exactly making a lot of money, but we're not losing money. and that's a first for me. I'm normally like just losing tons of money right now. Let's see here. I'm gonna put 2 more trucks on the getting rid of this waste. Now, this is awesome, right? So the ash waste is actually profitable because it's got metal in it and it's got construction waste in it. It's not extremely profitable, you know, at 20 rubles per truck, but that's a lot better than I've had in a few other areas where it's like, you know, not that, for lack of a better term. Okay. So I got to figure this out and how I'm going to do this, because I thought that that would be kind of like our output for the foreseeable future. I was wrong. I'm also curious, like, where are we spending? Oh, never mind. I know. We're spending a lot of steel right here at the rail yard as we're building out our rail network. But I've told them to not build past this point here, because we don't need to go this direction yet. This direction is the next expansion. So the next expansion is the farmland here, which will then translate into like getting a fabric factory actually running. I gotta figure that part out. Like, where would I put the fabric factory? Do I build a whole new town for that? Like, you know, what do we need to do for that? See, like, this month we're profitable, and if we end up over 12,296 this month, then we'll be golden, but I don't think we'll quite get there. But it's December 1945, so we got a lot to do and a lot of progress to make. I think one of the things that I want to do, and that would be a really good thing for us to do, is to start an explosives factory. And because the explosives factory is not hard to do. It's wood plus chemicals plus gravel. So it would be really, really easy for me to just throw like an explosive factory in like right here, which kind of eats up some of the wood. But these 2 wood locations, look at this. They does it tell you the quality anymore? Oh, it's not telling us the quality. Why is it not telling us the quality? Where is the quality? Sometimes it tells you, doesn't it tell you the quality? It tells you the quality when you look at, yeah, quality of source, 96, 89, 85. And then it doesn't tell you the quality here anymore. But basically, like, the quality in this area is insane, guys. Like, look at this. Watch. Wood cutting, 99%. Okay, so like I've got these 2 guys, so we can eat up a lot of this space without really a concern. So if I think honestly getting the explosives factory up and running is gonna be the answer to some of our problems. Not all of our problems, but some of our problems, because we need a second source of good income, right? And so, and explosives right now in this world, this time around, is the 3rd highest paying one. Not by much, but by enough, right? So let's figure that out. Let's figure that out. Okay, I need an aggregate storage, probably like a large. Not a large. Large is too much. Let's do a small. And flip it. And if I put that like... Yeah, okay. If I put that here, right? Probably gonna need another electrical connection, but we can deal with that when we get to that. Okay, and then construction, explosives factory, flippity floppity. Yeah, see, okay, we're gonna need like a water connection and some other stuff. I don't think we need like a massive warehouse for that though either. I'm gonna make sure. Ooh, I forgot. Aggregate unloading. Yeah, see, we gotta move that stuff. That's not gonna work. Let's start with the aggregate unloading. Let's start with that. Kind of, we can put it at a little angle. Like that. And then a small storage. Flippity floppity. Ooh, look at that. I can actually go just like that. And then don't build that, don't build that. Okay, and then I need the aggregate engine to move that stuff out. Okay. No, it doesn't work quite as well without the engine. Like, from my experience, the engine has been not necessary, because you're right, you don't need it, but it makes it run smoother, I find. Like, it runs with, like, basically what the engine does, for me at least, is when there's not enough workers here, this provides the materials that are necessary for this to keep building. So it's kind of a, you know, it's a good thing. Okay. Also, give me a moment to get this situation sorted out. Okay. I don't think there's a good spot for me to oh, that TV thing finished. That's awesome. And oh, we're basically done with research on that. Okay, metallic separation. Yeah. Well, do we need that? I don't think we need that. We need like steel recycling. Okay. I don't know that there is a good spot for a train depot up here. For like the actual people. I know that there's not a spot in here because I didn't design this with trains in mind. So I don't think that there's a spot for us to efficiently bring trains in, but I could probably do... see, that's gonna put so much pressure on one set of tracks though if I do that. Yeah, I think we need to bus the workers in. Just because there's gonna be so much train traffic here that I don't think train is going to be the answer for them. Maybe we could do a tram line. You could place it over existing planned rail line. Really? Oh, you mean like build it here? That is the gravel. You mean like delete the line and then build it here? Is that gonna be in range? How far can they walk from the train station? I tell them don't build this track because we might be able to put it right in there. But how far can they walk? 400 meters on a gravel path, okay. So that's 311 to there. So that would be in range. That's obviously in range. That's in range. That is kind of in range. That's outside of range, but it doesn't matter. We're busing people in over there. So yeah, I think that's gonna be what we do. Okay, that's a good idea. Let's do this. We'll just back that rail up a little bit. All right. There we go. Okay. And then now we should be able to throw that in there well before everything gets built, and then that way it's a little bit better. Oh, I need room though. We need like a little bit of room, kind of like that, maybe a little bit more. Starting to get a little bit out of range with it, but it should be okay. Okay. Yeah, I was worried about that. All right, no track switching right there. I can do a track switch just before it, and then there's 2 track switches after it. So that should be fine. Okay. Don't build that, not yet. Okay, I think we need to do our usual like underground paths to kind of cut a lot of that out of the equation, right? So if I go you to you, you to you, and then out. Out like that. Well, they could go that way, I guess. There's no good connection there other than like me doing something like this, and they can cross that and then come up here. That cuts a little bit of time out of their walk over here. Oh, let's see here. Okay. And I think just like this. Okay. I tell them don't build that yet because we don't really have the money for it right now. Speaking of money, I'm not comfortable yet paying down that loan with only 26,000. Let's go ahead and get like up to 50,000. Getting a little hot with that window open, so I had to close it. Click on the train station, you can see what's in walking range. Yeah, but you gotta wait until you've got your paths set up. Yeah, so that no longer becomes in range, but I bet you we can make it in range. Not that we necessarily need the foot traffic there, but I bet you I got a way to make it in range. If we come straight across the train tracks just like that, and then come up this way. Let's make that a little bit, because we also have the prefab panels to consider here in the not so distant future. And then that path right there will allow us to connect that, and then boom, that now becomes in walking range. At least the one does, the other one doesn't, but we can keep feeding that by bus, that's fine. But yeah, here's my construction industry, right? We've got gravel, we've got coal, we've got bricks, we've got boards, we've got cement. So we're self-sufficient on all of that, which is awesome. You love to see that. Yeah, just being able to be self-sufficient on all of that is just phenomenal. We also have a ton of cement left now. Oh, White Rabbit, let me show you something that I'm doing over here. So these are the construction industries, right? These are where our major construction fields are gonna be, and I'm gonna add like helicopter pads down to this one and stuff like that, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Okay, but you'll notice that I've got boards and bricks on rail, and then I've got steel and prefab panels on rail as well. And then I've got an aggregate unloading station, so I can put gravel here with 2 truck loading stations. And then I've got cement unloading that can then come into here. And then I've got a little concrete pad over here. So you can basically get almost all of the construction materials right next to the construction yards over here. And then I got a little tiny bus station here to be able to feed this guy with workers. So this is a future plan that we don't have money for yet, but once we have money for that and we have the need for it, I feel like we can start spending that money on that. All right, let's do this. And okay, so that one is going to be loaded and unloaded by train eventually, but we're not quite there yet. That's going to be kind of convoluted. Would it be better if I tied in over here? I think it would be. Yeah, let's do that. That's going to put too much pressure on like one one area. So let's do this. Let's tie in down over here instead. That's also like right next to the distribution yard, which could be very, very, very useful. All right, let's go up to about there, and then let's cross in there, and then give us some room and do a little criss cross, and then come down to like here-ish, maybe, and then boom, boom, bam, bam, done. Yes, sir. I won't activate that building yet. It's not yet needed. The other thing though that we could use, maybe, you know what, I want to run that by train primarily. So I was gonna say we could put like a truck loading station over here, but I don't think that is necessary now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more. So instead, let's do one of these numbers, and let's curve right into there. And then just in case there's a fire, let's connect that into there so that we've got multiple points of ingress and egress and all that jazz. All right, if I'm on the roads, I should be able to build those roads. That guy is not set to be built. Don't build you. Don't build you. Don't build you. I could just, well, no. It's better to do it this way. Yeah, don't build, and there we go. So if I can get that up and running, right, then I think that's gonna be really, really good. And then we will bring people in from this train platform straight over here to this other train platform, which then allows us to basically feed another industry and have another source of income, which I think is a really good idea. The next good idea is we're spending a decent amount of money. Like, let's look at last year, right? We're spending quite a bit of money on fabric now. 503,000 versus, like, I wish it showed it all in like one thing. So we spent 503,000. We made about 222,000 when it comes down to it, but that's for an entire year. So we need to get our fabrics up and running soon, which means that I also could use like chemicals, and I don't know where I'm gonna put chemicals, but we need quite a few chemicals. So yeah, lots of plans, lots of work to be had. This is done, which is phenomenal. We're having a low profit month right now. Hopefully we can turn that around. Also, I'm looking forward to like essentially being done with like building the rail. Would be really nice to be done with. That'd be awesome, because then we're kind of in a situation, if we're done with the rail, then we're not going to be spending quite as much money on steel, which is a fairly significant import that we've got going on. It's not our biggest import. Our biggest import by far is fabric, but steel is not a zero number. It's 9,000. So like last month, right, we brought in 14,000 ruples worth of hazardous waste, and we're kind of going through that process pretty quick over here. Let's get these other 2 trucks started on hazmat. What's the hazmat price right now? It is 191, so that's pretty good. With sewage, I'm using a modded sewage switch with multiple outs. I got you. So what? The mod is basically like one of these large water pumps or something? Like you got 3 in and 3 out or something? Also, my pipe network is no longer clean. It's all over the place in this playthrough, which is fine. The next Republic, we can try to negate our spaghetti. Speaking, do you have power or do you even need power? You've got power. You've got power. You don't have power. Okay. Well, that means I need another transformer thingamabobberjigger over here. Which means we've got 1. I wonder, let's put a medium voltage switch over here. No, that's gonna cause brownouts if I do that. Alright, never mind. We'll just have to bring in... Ooh. Okay, I need another transformer. Interesting. We can just put that like right there. If I can find a green spot. There we go. And then like that. And go underground. All right. So now our explosives factory will have power. Do they have water? No. Do they have sewage? Yes. They need water though. Okay. So let's do a water substation. And let's flip it around. Because I'm pretty sure I can pull water from somewhere over here. There's one spot there, but I was looking up there. There's not another spot up that way. So let's go from this top one here. Bring that right there, and then in there. That's as good as it's gonna get over there. Traffic jam. Yep. They keep warning me about this traffic jam right here. And this traffic jam is by design, so... 3 in and 3 out. Okay. Yeah, the only mods that I have right now is the trash harbor and the trash ships. Those are the only mods that I have. And the only reason why I have them is because the plan was to use them in this playthrough, or like my next playthrough, whichever one that ended up being. But they are not available until the 50s, and I was hoping to be able to use them like kind of now, honestly. I was hoping to be able to use them in 1930. I thought it would have been fun to, you know, ship in the hazardous waste instead of trucking it in. And then, yeah, that ended up not being an option, apparently. But yeah, exactly. It's February 1946. We don't have too much more to go. I think getting this second industry up and running is going to be a good thing, which is going to make make it so that we start making like some serious money, I think. So it needs 75 workers. Multiply that by 3. You've got hold on. Let's see here. That's 150, and then another 75 is 225, somewhere around it, I think. Hey Siri, what is 3 times 75? Oh, that's embarrassing.
3 times 75.
I got it. I was right. Okay, so we need 225 new people. Well, guess what? That's 150. That's 300. That's 600 people right here. Also, look at this. I've got a kindergarten and a school in the middle of the courtyard of these 3 buildings, and then it's surrounded by sports fields and stuff. And then I've got some support staff for the schools and stuff. I think this little city block might end up working, but we'll find out. Constantly making little changes like that. Also, I've encouraged education through our radio, because we had a university graduate die off, as you see. Like a lot of our old university people ended up dying of old age, so we need to start replacing them pretty soon. So we're trying to train new students over here. Looks like one guy just graduated. Congratulations to him. Also, I'm curious, can we change the name of the residence? That'd be fun. It doesn't look like I can though, but that would be really fun to change the names of the residents and then, like, you know, name them after the viewers and the chatters and stuff. I think that would be fun. Okay. So you will now get your water from there, you get your sewage from there, you get your power from here. Fantastic. I have too many trees over here. Let me get rid of a few trees. Just a few trees. Let's save. These trees are really heavy on the graphical resource. Let's get rid of a few of them. And bam, I've already freed up like 10 frames right there. Sure. Okay, they're building that, but we have the materials for that for the most part, don't we? Yeah, the only thing we don't make is the steel. Yeah, you can rename buildings, yeah. It said you shouldn't do math on Steam. Oh, yeah, shouldn't do math on stream, but you pulled it off, yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Okay. What do we got? Well, honestly, we've got like a pretty good setup, I think. Again, the quality of the wood on this map is just insane. So you get a ton of wood out of each tree, which is awesome. How's our factories doing? Yeah, they're doing pretty good. 70 out of 80. Also, over here, I used the pergolas to extend the walking range, but the problem with the pergolas is they got to be about this far apart from each other, because you have to be able to get a footpath in the middle of them in order to build the path in between them, because once the pergola is up, you can't build in between. So I was unable to fit another one like right here, even though like I had them lined up like that. So you got to give them a little bit more room in between each other than it initially looks. Also, this bridge burned down, and so this is now, useless. And I can't remove the debris there because there's no way to get there due to the factory connections that kind of block that area off. But that was the original way that I was getting people into the repair shop. I have since went to my tried and true tunnel pathways instead. I didn't need the 2 pathways, but that's okay. We have 2 pathways now. Okay. We also have 4 trains waiting to be used, but we don't have the money for all of that. But guess what? We do have money to pay off like $10,000 or 10,000 rupees on our loan, bring that loan down a little bit more, and now we owe 18 grand. So yeah, we were not profitable last month. Last month, what was our imports? Yeah, see, we're importing 44 tons of steel. We just because we're building the rail, we're importing a lot of steel right now, which is kind of really expensive. Can you show the walking range through the pergolas? Yeah, see, when you hover the walking range disappears inside the pergola. So like for that short period of time, there's no walking range problems. Yeah. So the pergolas are awesome. The downside to them is, like I said, you can't build them back to back. Like, you know, I had another one like right here, and then they were really close to each other. But the problem is you need space. You need about this far. Let me look. Let's see what that distance is. So from edge to edge, you need about 16 meters. From edge to edge, roughly. So you need about 16 and a half meters in between the pergolas, and then the distance of the pergola does not count towards the walking distance. So if we look at one of the further away guys, you know, due to the pergolas, he can make it all the way to this far factory now. And if I built more pergolas, like, that would make it even better. But if he can reach there already, like, it, you know, I don't need to do more. Also, it looks like we can reduce our prison staff by a little bit again, because we're down to 22 prisoners. Which is pretty good. We don't actually want a lot of prisoners. Like, I'd rather people be out there and being productive. Yeah, children's playground. Yeah, so I did the same trick over here. I've got 2 children's playgrounds right next to the kindergarten and the school. So they're able to get to the school from further away because the children's playground does not count. So this one school covers almost all of our residents. Almost all of them. It doesn't cover these 2 buildings right here, and it doesn't cover these 3 or 4 buildings right here. Which is why I built this school over here, which is just a small school. But this small school covers well, it alleviates some of the stress out on that one. Do I not? I guess I don't have these guys covered by a school. Okay, these guys are not covered by a school, but what they're doing is they're getting on this bus, and then the bus takes them over here, and then they go to school. So it's not the end of the world. It's not ideal. Once this school and stuff is built, I think it will be better. But we're not building that stuff yet. We can put another 10,000 towards the loan, which is great. So boom, we put another 10,000. We are almost debt free, which is phenomenal. Once we're debt free, I think we'll earn a little bit more money. Even though like our expense on the loan right now is not that much. It's 4 rubles a day or 144 a month right now. So we're not really hurting that badly for that. Which is good. It's really, really good. All right, let me answer my sister real quick. And then, yeah, not quite full factories, but they're pretty decent. The other thing is, I tried stopping these trucks, okay? Because I got 2 of these big trucks that basically, they come in, they deliver, fabric, and then they take the clothing out. But if I can't stop these guys. I tried stopping them because I've got this distribution center over here. But the problem is we're not really producing clothing fast enough for this guy to do its job efficiently. Or at least, like, we wouldn't have an income that is significant without these trucks running the clothing. You know, and I think this is a clothing truck too. Yeah, I was right. So he's running clothing. I wonder, can I change his color? Ooh. We could change him to green. Green for money, right? Hold on. Yeah, green. Let's get the bright green on these trucks. Bright green for money. You're a lot further along than me. You're almost in 1933. Just bought your first crops and working on your first industry, food factory. Okay, cool. Yeah, I might be a little bit further than you, but I'm also 13 years ahead of you at this point. So like, there, you know, do consider that as well. I think we can pay off our loan now. So let's do 8048. Return the money. We are debt free, ladies and gentlemen. We are debt freaking free. We made 20,000 rubles last month. You play slow and pause a lot. Oh, speaking of pausing, we do have an ad break that we need to do, and we'll be right back. Oh, man. Yeah. I'm excited, man. You know, getting this stuff all built, all rocking and rolling. Especially getting the thing done. I know, right? Oh man, we're debt free. That is such a beautiful feeling. It would be nice if I had a connection to NATO, but over here in this corner, there's no real connection to NATO. Like, the closest connection to NATO is all the freaking hell way over here, which is gonna be stupidly expensive to get over there. You know what I would like? You know the game Transport Fever 2? I would love it if this game had a similar feature as that game. Transport Fever 2 allows you to lock the year. So the time goes on, but the year gets locked. So if you want to play in like 1930, you can stay in 1930 for 10 years and then go, oh, okay, well, 10 years later, I want to go ahead and activate time again. And so I don't know, it's nice. I like that feature a lot. Where are our rail builders right now? Also, once our rail builders are done, we're not going to be spending as many workers on the rails as well. I think if I actually do a small connection from like here to here, that then can become, nah, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm looking at it. I was gonna say if I did a connection from here to here, this becomes a loop, but it's not necessary because they can turn around at the refueling station. So yeah, that's not necessary. That's a waste of resources for me to build that. Okay, that's all built. Those pathways are built. That's fantastic. But yeah, I plan on taking cement from here and bringing it over here to our construction yards so that I can have like the whole industry set up for that. I think that's going to be really, really good. And be very, very useful because that's quite a lot, you know, like it's a lot of travel time at the moment. It's a lot of travel time at the moment for our construction crews to come up the path and into the construction industry to be able to pick everything up, right? And so if I've got that set so that it's not a big hassle for them anymore, you know, maybe using our distribution yard here, our rail distribution yard, you know, that's gonna alleviate quite a bit of stress. And then once we've got our coal industry up and running, which is over here, once the coal industry is up and running, then we no longer have an expense on fuel because we're using coal that we've mined ourselves. So yeah, we got quite a bit of progress made for sure, but there's quite a lot of progress left to be made. So and we will continue to make that progress as we move along. Boom, just like that. Okay. The other thing is I plan on building like a tunnel through here for both rail and road. But yeah, doing the switcheroo on our things here. We've got an import month versus very, very little exports going on right now. That's scary. Come on, guys. Let's do some exports here, shall we? We're exporting some boards. Like 916 rubles is not much, but it's not nothing. Yeah, realistically, getting those explosives. Oh, now clothes are more expensive than explosives now. I think once I get the second industry up and running, I might even like give it like a dedicated train, but I don't think so. The other thing is I was planning on doing like a dedicated train for coal, essentially, and then like, or something, I don't know. I got a lot of plans and a lot of room for plans. When this is full of workers, yeah, it gets up to like 2.5% increase. And since I've been selling electronics to my people since day one, almost everybody has a radio. 1,224 people have a radio right now, which translates into 49% of the population has a radio that they're able to tune into our propaganda for, which is great. So, and it looks like ever since we started getting like some really skilled workers in here, we chew through that waste so quickly. I think the next Republic that I do, I'm gonna go ahead and build the rail line version of this instead. I didn't plan on keeping this setup here, and I still don't plan on keeping the setup there, but I need to figure out where we're gonna put the actual recycling center and stuff like that eventually. Aluminum scrap. I think aluminum scrap is aggregate, isn't it? So it looks like. So out of those, yeah, aluminum construction and metal scrap are aggregate. Oh, and you were saying that if I put it on the same conveyor belt, that it's not gonna hurt it if it's on the same conveyor belt, like it will separate itself. Well, basically I want to get a whole like recycling industry and stuff going too, and maybe we put that over here in this region, but I gotta be careful because I don't want it to be like wherever we put it, whatever's downwind is gonna be having a bad day. So maybe we put it here in this area, which I kind of like that area, because if you look here, we'd be able to pull like we can pull ships in from NATO, which gives us NATO money, which is not ideal. The other alternative spot, but the problem is, remember, the wind goes northeast, so let me put that on coal, because you already know where some coal is. I can't turn that off, can I? Yeah, we can turn it off. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so the wind is blowing northeast, or is it northeast, or is it going south west? Okay, the wind is going, yeah, northeast. So the wind goes northeast, so wherever we put it northeast of that is gonna get pollution. So you know, if I don't want to put it down here where the harbor is, because northeast goes directly into where the town would be, the town that's going to support the production of coal and stuff like that. So I don't know, I think the best spot for it is gonna be like right in here for the recycling industry. So if we put that there, then we can put the you know, the harbor right here, which, go to ships, there's a, no, hold on, mod. So there's a garbage harbor that I got, so we could put that like literally right there, and then bring in the garbage by ship at that point. But I don't know, it's gonna take forever for any Russian ships to get that far. Not the end of the world, but you know, it also, like, if we had two ships, right, like that'd be a good thing, because then we can dock the two ships right next to each other and then like set them to stay there until offloaded. And then if they, you know, once they're offloaded, then they could go pick up more hazmat at that point. So I don't know. Lots of plans. We just need money. Money and time and people and all that jazz. Speaking of money, I feel like once the rail network is more finished and finalized, speaking of, we can go ahead and accept that build. I feel like once the rail network is a little bit more complete, we can go ahead and what am I thinking? Okay, once the rail network is more complete, right? We can get ready like to take a loan to build out the second industry. I think if we take a loan to build out the second industry, it will save us a heck of a lot of time, as opposed to, you know, maybe we take like a 500,000 ruble loan to be able to build all this stuff out, and then we should be able to pay off 500,000 a little bit easier with a second industry kind of thing. So the other thing that we could do is oh, did you pick water up from here? That's interesting. I didn't know you could do that. Where are you taking the water? Or did you deliver water there? I think he delivered water there. Why did you deliver water here though? Is this not done being built? That is done being built. You have water. You've got water. That means that line should have water. I wish you could click on the pipe and see. Its input is 0.41 bar. Maybe it's like full or something. Wait. Is that because, well, there's no water being used out of that tower. Is that one getting drained right now? Yeah, okay, so there's some drain on that, but not by much. Okay. Good to know. But yeah, debt free for the first time in a while. I mean, we've been debt free for like over a decade at this point, but you know, we took that one loan and then now we're kind of recovering from that loan. Let's research aluminum recycling, please and thank you. And then you guys need to continue to train new students. Which that, how's that going? You know what? It's better to look at it here. Oh, this year we've had a massive downtrend on university graduates, huh? That's not good, but we do still have 673. We still have 673 total, but we were up to almost 700 at one point. We had a lot of deaths with that lately. We're getting escapes. If I look at the general population, yeah, general population. So some of our highly educated people are escaping the Republic. How do we stop that? What do we need to do to stop that? Your plan for expansion is to get into the electricity business. There's that great coal source and 3 border crossings that aren't that far away. Yeah, that's the other plan, is to do power over here somehow. Which, like, if we take a look at that, we got the coal power plant that we could get up and running, which would be absolutely phenomenal. I don't know where I'd put it though, but we need to find a spot for it. Could be like over on this side maybe. It's a little harder to get it into that, but we can use the transfer engines and move that there, because I also need the train aggregate loading station. Yeah, the loading station, which I don't really want it directly onto the passenger rail, but we got to figure that out. Speaking of figuring that out, I also need to figure out, like, you know, the walking range of this station, which I'm not married to this location for the station. We can move the station a little further over this way. Probably like right there, or even a little bit further back into that area or something. I don't know. But we do need to figure that out eventually. I'm gonna say don't build that yet, but you can build that. You can build this. You can build that and that. All right. Stream loading problems for me. Oh. Do we have a stream hiccup there? What in the hell? Apparently we do.